Hello, pre-algebra. I hope you had a good weekend. Today's lesson is on lesson 75, and it is on ratios. You guys remember that a ratio is when you compare two things. For example, let's say we have the ratio of 4 girls in a class to every 5 boys. So if we had a class that had 25 boys in it, remember, boys are on the bottom, so boys have to be on the bottom. How many girls would there be? Remember to solve these. It's a cross, multiply, and divide. We would cross multiply, and then we would divide by the 5 boys to get our answer. And when we do that, we would get 20 girls. Or another way to solve, 5 times what gives you 25? 5 times 5. 4 times 5 gives you 20. So in these simple ratios, you might easily see that it would have been 20 girls just by multiplying by 5. However, when the numbers get a little bit bigger and they include fractions, you really need to do the cross multiplying and dividing. Now, these are going to be in word problems, so you need to be able to figure out that it's a ratio word problem and go from there. So here's a word problem, and I kind of have it broken down for you so you can see it while I read it. It takes 2.5 eggs to make 140 cookies. Jenny wants to make 1,680 cookies. How many eggs does she need? Well, you have to break down your information. It takes 2.5 eggs to make 140 cookies. She wants to make 1,680 cookies. How many eggs does she need? So if we're to break this down, it's 2.5 eggs for 140 cookies. Now we have to set up the other side. What do they give us? They tell us how many cookies she wants to make. So it has to be cookies to cookies. So the cookies have to go on the bottom. And then they're asking us how many eggs will she need? Well, that's our question. Eggs to eggs has to go on the top. So to find this answer, you would cross multiply and then you would divide by 140. Remember, when you are multiplying your fractions, you need to change that into a mixed number. So you would end up cross multiplying. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 over 2 times 1,680 over 1. Once you have that figured out, you could then divide it by your cookies. Okay? So in this lesson, I'm just showing you how to set it up. I'm assuming as you should be able to do the math because you've been working on that. You know how to multiply fractions. Remember, when you divide fractions, you actually have to flip it by its reciprocal and multiply it. So just follow your rules. And if you set these up right, you should be okay. Let's do the one more example that they give us. And let's set that up. Then they say 35, oops, sorry, wrong one. Then they say it takes 3 tons of fertilizer to fertilize 170 acres. So that takes 3 tons of fertilizer for 170 acres of land. Farmer Brown wants to fertilize 1,870 acres of land. How many tons of fertilizer does Brown need? So this is what he wants to fertilize. How much fertilizer will he need? Well, let's set it up with the one that we know. It takes 3 tons of fertilizer for 170 acres. That's what we know. He wants to fertilize 1,870 acres. So will that go on the top or the bottom? It will go on the bottom because it's acres to acres. How much fertilizer will he need? Well, to solve, you would cross multiply, then divide to get your answer. So 1,870 times 3 divided by 170. You have to do the timesing first and then the dividing, and you'll get your answer. So you should do fine as long as you set it up right. Good luck.